Welcome back, guys. It's your boy, it's Killer Headshot. I just wanted to create a video because there's been a lot of rubbish online on YouTube at the moment surrounding the next generation consoles. A lot of Xbox fanboys are trying to dethrone the whole Sony camp for the next generation before it's even started, because of the official specs that have been released for both of these machines. Has Microsoft marketed the machine so far in a better way? Yes, obviously. I've actually really enjoyed how Microsoft have marketed their next generation machine so far. I actually like the design of it as well. Everything they're doing, they seem to have learned from their mistakes of this current generation. Have I enjoyed how they've marketed the next generation PlayStation so far? No, I think they've taken a really bad approach to it so far, but that doesn't mean that the PlayStation is not going to be a beast, and it doesn't mean they're not going to redeem themselves, because they will redeem themselves very quickly, because Sony have always been very conscientious. Am I a Sony fanboy? Yes. Am I a Microsoft fanboy? Yes, not as much, but I am still a fan of the Microsoft brand. Okay, so let's get that out of the way straight away. I'm not going to sit here and let people try and troll Sony, because I've got big love and respect for Sony because of all the things they've done. They have won this generation currently, hands down, and it's for good reasons. Okay, so these two machines, there is not a massive disparity between these machines. Some people are lying online pretending that it's 30% difference between the horsepower of the GPUs of these machines. It's clearly not the case. Simple maths will suggest it's a 15% difference in regards to teraflops. Okay, it's less than 2 teraflops more when we're talking more than 10 teraflops on both machines. It's simple. If you're not intelligent enough to understand that, then please just don't even comment. Okay, they are trying to bamboozle you, right? They're trying to trick you. They're trying to create a narrative that is just completely untrue. I've got both the specs in front of me now. Like I said, they're very comparable. Both CPUs are both based on the exact same architecture, except the Xbox CPU is running at 3.8, sometimes 3.6. The PlayStation CPU is going to be running at 3.5. This is such a small difference. Honestly, it's not even worth paying that tiny bit of extra money for a difference that is so small. I mean, I wouldn't pay the extra money. So obviously what's happened, both Microsoft and Sony have gone to the car dealer, and both of them have bought the exact same car. Okay, except Microsoft had more money, so they got a few tiny little extras. That's it. Both of them are both performing very similarly, but Microsoft just had a couple extras that they purchased extra on top. Some would argue that they are unnecessary. Okay, I think that's all that's happened here. The difference between the CPUs and the GPUs, which are both are the major parts that in both PCs and gaming consoles that have the that play the role in making them powerful. Okay, so they're both based on the 7nm process. They've both got 16 gigs of RAM, so they both have equal amounts of RAM, except the PlayStation is going to be RAM is going to be outputting at 448 gigabits per second. The Xbox RAM is split. It's 10 gigs of the RAM is going to be running tiny bit faster, 560 gigabits per second, and then 6 gigs of the RAM on the Xbox is going to be running tiny bit slower at 336 gigabits per second. Like I said, just two different approaches. The RAM is going to be highly comparable. The hard drives, the Xbox has 1 terabyte hard drive, the PlayStation has 825 5 gigs of hard drive storage. But the PlayStation hard drive, I'm going to straight just tell you it's running twice the speed. It's running at 5.5 gigabits per second uncompressed, and 8 to 9 gigabits per second compressed, versus the 2.4 gigabits per second raw on the Xbox and the 4.8 gigabits per second compressed. So essentially the hard drive on the PlayStation is twice as fast. Simple as that. And you can upgrade it with a off-the-shelf M.2 drive, which is qualified to work on the machine, which will be out 4.0 PCI Express 4.0 compliant hard drive at the correct speed, those hard drives will be coming out on the market later on this year, and they'll be compatible with the PS5, and you can buy them off the shelf. The Xbox will have a proprietary version, a very small memory card type size sort of version of their expandable storage, and I can only assume it will cost more. But like I said, the loading times will be noticeable between the two machines, and what Sony are going to do with the speed of the M.2 PCI Express 4.0 hard drive inside the machine is going to be far superior than what the Xbox can do with their hard drive. Although it will be very impressive what the Xbox can do with their hard drive, it will drastically speed up loading times and texture loadings and things like that. So the biggest disparity between these two machines is the hard drive, and that's no secret. Okay, everything else is on the same level, 4K 60 both machines are capable of, and up to 120 FPS 4K as well, potentially even 8K at a lower frame rate. So like I said, there's not much difference between these machines. They are very comparable, and the biggest difference I feel after seeing these specs is going to be the games. Okay, and we know how good Sony's track record is with their games, so I'm telling you from now, Sony have a good chance to win the next generation. Will they win by a landslide this time? I'm not so sure. That's all going to be determined by how good Microsoft's games are, because I'm not being funny, both of these machines are very, very comparable, and that's all I have to say. One is blue and one is green, and that is the only difference this generation. And obviously the hard drives, that's going to be the biggest difference, yeah, but other than that, they're both going to be very similar. It's going to be all about the games, that's all I'm saying. So do not get it twisted, do not get the wrong impression. Microsoft have better marketing this time, but the machines are very comparable, and they're both bits of technology that have been purchased at the same time, and they'll both be releasing at the same time. But it's just the hard drive that Sony is really focused on, and because they have big plans with the hard drive, they want to allow the hard drive to make the games better in every aspect. They want to have next to no loading times. That's one of their goals. They want to be able to have clever ways of loading in the textures for only when you need them, and they want to be able to implement utilize the speed of the hard drive in relation to how well the game runs as well, in regards to if you loaded in scenes at a stupidly fast rate to the point where you do not even notice anything, so you'll be able to go around in complex environments at whatever speed you desire. For example, the new Spider-Man that's going to be released on the PlayStation. So Sony have bigger plans to utilize the hard drive speeds. It doesn't seem like Xbox are as interested, but they will be utilizing the hard drive speeds as well to have instant game resumes and things like that. We've already seen their tech demos for that, and to obviously have overall faster loading times, but they won't be able to touch Sony's loading times and the other things that Sony are going to do with their hard drive. That's the end of it. Okay, so thanks for tuning in. Remember to like and subscribe, and yeah, share. Thank you. Peace.
PlayStation